Right now, the Salvation Army hopes expanding their facilities can help address Madison's homeless problem, but neighbors are concerned it might cause more issues.
And as the extreme heat continues this week, we are asking Rock County officials how many people are actually using the available cooling shelters.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Plans are in the works for a new $25 million homeless facility to go on Madison's east side.
The Salvation Army planning to build onto the facility they already have on East Washington. The number of new amenities they plan to have is impressive, but it does face some opposition. Jamie Perez joins us with what neighbors are saying. Jamie?
Well, some people in the community say that they already have concerns regarding safety and behavioral issues coming from the current facility that's already here. Now, the main thing that they want to see is proof that these new plans going forward will help reduce crime in the future.
If they could just get staff to patrol, one person to patrol the parking lot, I think that alone would do a lot.
Jared Heinem has lived behind the Salvation Army on East Wash for the past 3 years with his friend Alec Brown. They see firsthand the crime people are concerned about in this area.
Certainly. Just the other day, I witnessed there was a fist fight out in the street that was pretty severe.
Well, new plans are underway to expand the Salvation Army's facility here to make this into a 5-story building with amenities and services like transitional housing, an emergency center, a gym, auditorium, chapel, playground, apartments, mental health facilities, bed spaces, and more. But with safety being a concern for neighbors, the alder for this area, Patrick Heck, says there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
There are bad behaviors, criminal behaviors that are occurring in that parking lot, as well as violations of Salvation Army's own policies.
Heck said that expanding the facility to accommodate more people is only growing concerns.
I think many people do equate that to more problems.
The Salvation Army responded and said, "We've been working with the neighborhood police and security consultants to address safety issues. The proposed site includes green and open spaces and lounge areas on the campus to accommodate the needs of those with nowhere else to go. A new layout is necessary to make these vital changes and meet these valid concerns."
I do think there's some merit in the Salvation Army's argument that a purpose-built shelter can provide more security and better services, but that combined with an expansion is problematic, and I think they have a lot to prove.
For Heinem and Brown, they say even though there is crime that happens,
I feel completely safe, and I think with the new facility, things only have the chance to get better.
Homeless people need help, and they are going to be somewhere.
With the shelter's plan to provide more needed services and not just providing housing, it makes Heinem and Brown feel hopeful that safety concerns will be addressed.
If you have a city that is hostile to those people's very existence, that is pushing them out of various areas in downtown and has a whole lot of non-fixes, just push the problem here and then it becomes a problem and you push it elsewhere.
I think that all is crucial to the homelessness problem and not just giving them a place to stay.
Now, more plans on this will be discussed at a meeting at the Urban Design Commission meeting tomorrow, and there will also be more meetings held in the future where public input will be welcome, but there's a lot of moving parts and pieces to this, so a lot of work to be done still before anything can actually become official.
Jamie, thank you.
Multiple departments are working to put out a house fire in Verona. It started around 4:30 in the 700 block of Paulson Road, north of the Goodman Aquatic Center. Dane County dispatchers say the fire is still active and 10 different departments have been called out to help. We'll continue to follow this story and have updates tonight at 10. Officials with the Dane County Sheriff's Office say there were no injuries in an ultralight plane's emergency landing this morning. The pilot, a 61-year-old Madison man, was trying to land at the Verona airport when he experienced engine trouble. He was able to land in a nearby farm field.
The man accused of kidnapping then 13-year-old Jamie Kloss for almost 3 months and killing her parents has been moved to an out-of-state prison. A state corrections official confirms Jacob Patterson was transferred, but the DOC isn't disclosing his new location for his safety. Patterson serving 2 life sentences plus 40 years for the homicides and the kidnapping in Barron this past October. The alert days for extreme heat continue. We check our first alert forecast now with meteorologist Dave Caulfield. Dave?
Still hot and humid this evening, Eric, with temperatures still near 90 for some of us across southern Wisconsin. We can see on our temperature map 90 in Mineral Point, 89 in Madison, 88 in Janesville, and 87 in Boscobel and Watertown. If you factor in that humidity, which is still elevated across the area, it feels like 94 in Madison, 95 in Mineral Point, and 93 in Boscobel, feeling a little bit better near the lakeshore. So those thunderstorms, we're watching them closely, and we actually have a tornado warning that was just issued for portions of eastern Iowa. This was just popped up over the last couple of minutes, so we'll watch that particular thunderstorm very closely. I still expect those thunderstorms to fizzle as they continue to move to the east. In Madison, not seeing any thunderstorm activity on the WISC-TV Skycam. Looking at mostly sunny skies, temperatures falling through the 80s into the 70s overnight. We'll talk more about that heat and humidity still on the way in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Dave, thanks. A reminder from Rock County Emergency Management tonight that there are places you can go to stay cool rather than sweating it out outside.
Cooling centers are open all around the county. Rose Schmidt is here with more. Rose?
Yes, well, these cooling centers aren't usually used to their full capacity, and some people may not even realize that they're there. But Rock County Emergency Management officials say maintaining these cool spaces usually doesn't cost the businesses anything extra and adds just one more layer of protection from being outside.
A community meal tastes better when it's accompanied by good conversation. And being inside Creekside Place Community Center,
it's hard to escape the heat.
Sure beats being outside as temperatures rise.
It is nice to just be a welcoming center. Even if somebody's out working, they need to come in and have a drink, use the bathroom. That's what we're here for.
Executive Director Nikki Wagner says it doesn't cost the community center anything to act as a cooling center, one of about 24 in Rock County.
People will come, say somebody's having construction or doing something in their house and they can't access that, they'll come here.
From hospital lobbies to senior centers and libraries, businesses reach out to Rock County Emergency Management to let them know they'll be open, and people can come inside to stay cool or if the power goes out.
We're part of the community. We want to be present.
Emergency Management says cooling centers aren't to be confused with overnight shelters, and at these centers, people are responsible for their own belongings, water, and food. Many of the cooling centers only see a handful of people each summer, but Nikki says there's already been an increase at Creekside Place this week.
Today we did. We had a couple more people. Definitely.
And just a few reminders from Emergency Management. If you work outside, don't overdo it this week. Drink lots of water and check on your neighbors, especially if they're children or elderly.
All right, Rose Schmidt reporting. Rose, thank you.
Armed forces from across the country are here in Wisconsin practicing their responses to natural disasters in an exercise called Patriot North. Today's exercise included the landing of a C-130 on a small dirt strip. Following a disaster, this plane would bring in supplies and the Special Tactics Squadron to rescue people. But the Patriot North Deputy Director says one of the biggest benefits of this exercise is getting to know local partners.
The local security forces, police forces, sheriff, you've got the firefighters. You know, if we're not on the same page working together, then we're out doing missions on our own without multiplying the force to save more people.
One of their big partners is the Salvation Army, including volunteers who can help distribute food and water. There are more than 700 people participating, from local law enforcement to emergency management agencies and National Guard soldiers and airmen.
At the state capitol, Democrats are introducing legislation to dramatically rework how Wisconsin draws those legislative maps. Back in 2015, Democratic voters filed a federal lawsuit alleging the boundaries drawn by Republicans back in 2011 unconstitutionally diluted their voting power. Last month, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that gerrymandering claims don't belong in federal court, effectively killing that Wisconsin lawsuit. Today, Democratic Senator Dave Hansen talked about a bill to require the Legislative Reference Bureau to draw boundaries instead of lawmakers redrawing the lines after every census.
So it's past time for both sides to come together, do the right thing, pass a nonpartisan redistricting law that will give the people of the state the type of elections they deserve: fair, transparent, and, as importantly, competitive.
Now, the bill has 3 Republican co-sponsors. However, it is unlikely Republican leadership will allow it to become law. Speaker Robin Vos released a statement in response, arguing that maps shouldn't be drawn by, quote, an unelected, unaccountable board of bureaucrats appointed by politicians. He says Republicans and Democrats should each put forward their own maps after the census that can be openly debated.
Tonight is the first in a series of meetings to determine if Madison should make more parks dog-friendly. The Madison Parks Division is asking the public if current policies should be adjusted. Right now, only 26 of the city's 270 parks are accessible to dogs on leashes. You can share your thoughts tonight at the Warner Park Community Recreation Center. That meeting begins at 6:30. There is another one tomorrow night at Memorial High School, and you can find more information and an online survey at cityofmadison.com/parks. More local news now. The Madison School District is asking for feedback as it works on writing a facilities referendum question. The Cap Times reports they aim to add the question to the November 2020 ballot and have to approve the language by the end of May. It could include renovations to the city's 4 main high schools and a possible new elementary school on the city's south side. This fall, district officials will be holding focus groups, open community input sessions, and an online survey to gather feedback about possible upgrades.
A local nonprofit has been awarded a $50,000 grant to improve Black women's health in Dane County. The Mary Burke Fund for Girls through the Madison Community Foundation is awarding that money to support programming at the newly established Black Women's Health and Wellness Center. It's slated to open on Madison's west side later this summer. It'll also help fund a group of wellness ambassadors who will lead community outreach efforts.
A utility company serving southeastern Wisconsin has dropped its plans to charge homeowners who use solar panels an extra fee. We'll explain.
And there's more local news ahead. A downtown building is in danger of being demolished because city council members say it's being neglected. Coming up on News 3 Now at 10, why some are fighting to preserve its historical significance. The Duluth City Council is asking the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to reconsider whether oil refineries can continue using hydrogen fluoride. The council voted late last night on that request following safety concerns after an April 2018 explosion and fire at the Husky Energy Refinery in Superior. Flying shrapnel from that blast narrowly missed a tank of hydrogen fluoride, a toxic chemical that can be deadly if inhaled. A Husky spokesperson says they still plan to use the chemical when the $400 million facility is rebuilt. We Energies has agreed to drop a proposal to charge homeowners and small businesses that use solar energy. The Journal Sentinel out of Milwaukee reports the utility had asked for a surcharge that on average would cost 400 customers and businesses $191 a year. That's on top of the $192 fixed charge that other residential customers pay. Madison-based Renew Wisconsin agreed to support plans for a utility-scale solar project in exchange for We Energy's dropping that potential surcharge.
New data shows Illinois is losing more residents than almost any other state in the country, and their loss is Wisconsin's gain. Kenosha News cites U.S. Census Bureau data that from July 2017 to July 2018, the Illinois population shrank by more than 45,000 people, behind only New York for the worst population decline in the nation. Between 2014 and 2017, Wisconsin has gained an average of 40 Illinois residents each day. Some reasons for the trend are Wisconsin's lower tax burdens, less regulation, and greater fiscal stability. A group of golden retrievers are safe from the Chinese meat trade.
The 30-hour journey to America is only the beginning of what these dogs may have gone through in their short lives. Today, they are healthy and happy, and thanks to their new foster parents. 1-year-old Odin is doing great with Lisa Southern, who plans to adopt him. She did not realize until he came home that he had lost his left eye.
I don't even want to imagine what would have happened to him had he not been brought over. Everything I've heard about the China meat trade has been awful.
The organization Wisconsin Adopt a Golden Retriever hopes to save at least 7 more dogs this year. They need to raise $1,000 to rescue each dog. Could feel as hot as the triple digits tomorrow.
Meteorologist Dave Caulfield has those details, plus when things will start cooling down. Next in your First Alert forecast. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield joins us now, and you've got some green action going on in the map here.
We're talking about this heat and humidity, and all of a sudden a couple of storms popping up to our west, and one of them actually spawning a tornado warning. Now, this is not in Wisconsin yet. This storm, pretty close to Dubuque, actually west of Dubuque, has a tornado warning on it, and that goes until 6:45 this evening. The good news for us across southern Wisconsin is this is moving really slowly at about 10 to 15 miles per hour to the east, and no confirmed tornado with this yet, although a couple of funnel clouds have been reported over the last 15 minutes or so. This warning just coming up over the last 10 to 15 minutes, so we're watching that closely as it continues to move east at about 15 miles per hour. For the the rest of us really not seeing all that much. In fact, the storms have dwindled for the most part. It's really just that one storm that we are keeping a very close eye on as it moves to the east. Platteville on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam, this is looking to the west, so in the direction of that one cell, that thunderstorm cell. Not too much to be observed, but with the humidity the way it is, that is to be expected under Queen Bee Radio Skycam. Looking at mostly sunny skies in Madison on the Edgewater Skycam. Today's high 89 degrees, so just shy of 90. We may actually get to 90 once our mid-evening update comes out. And that's about 5 to 10 degrees above normal for this time of year. 91 in Mineral Point, the high temperature today, 90 in Boscobel, and 92 in Prairie du Chien. Those temperatures have really cooled off closer to those storms in southwestern Wisconsin. 84 in Prairie du Chien right now, 89 in Madison, and 88 in Janesville. Still feeling like the mid-90s in Madison and Mineral Point, feeling closer to 90 in Platteville. So we do still have those alert days in the forecast from Wednesday through Sunday for the heat and humidity. For Wednesday and Sunday, it could feel like the triple digits at times with highs in the low 90s, but really Thursday, Friday, and Saturday is when the hottest and most humid weather will be across southern Wisconsin. We could feel like the triple digits for most of the afternoon on those days. Just really depends on if we get some storms to help cool us down. They really won't do much for the humidity, though. In fact, they could raise our humidity if we get enough of that rain. Tonight, temperatures falling to near 70, mild and muggy. Slight chance of some showers and storms, and we'll definitely watch those storms across Iowa. Really don't expect those to survive much longer with the heat of the day starting to escape. Temperatures will be in the low 90s once again for tomorrow, hot and humid, feeling like the upper 90s, close to 100 degrees at times. So I expect those storms to fizzle out across southwestern Wisconsin over the next 3 to 4 hours or so, and I don't really expect them to be anything severe, but we'll continue to watch that closely because really it doesn't take much when we have this much humidity in the air to get some of those storms firing. So as we head into tomorrow morning, we'll be near 70 degrees, some patchy fog possible overnight into early Wednesday morning, then some slight chances for showers and storms on Wednesday. Our best chance of seeing some severe weather and maybe some clusters of thunderstorms arrives late Wednesday into early Thursday. Again, some of those storms could be a little bit on the strong side, but I do think they'll move out of here quickly enough to still get us into the low 90s as far as temperatures go, feeling like the triple digits on Thursday and Friday, the warmest day of them all. We're going to feel like 105 to maybe even close to 110 in spots. 7 to 10 day forecast showing the alert days end on Sunday, looking a little bit cooler as we head into next week and quieter overall as well.
Breeze Stevens Field will be abuzz with another big international friendly tonight. We'll hear from Mexican soccer star Omar Bravo in sports. There's going to be another full house at Breese-Stevens Field tonight when Forward Madison FC welcomes Leones Negros in an international friendly that'll kick off at 7 o'clock. Leones Negros is a top team from Mexico. They feature one of the biggest names in Mexican soccer, Omar Bravo, who scored 132 goals in his career playing for Guadalajara. Now, this game is very popular in Madison's Latino community, so don't be surprised if there are a lot of people cheering for the visiting team tonight. Here's Bravo speaking through an interpreter.
Espero que sea un partido.
So we know it's a big game, and obviously we're excited to get on the field, and we also expect the fans to show strong support. So we're excited.
This is another big event for a big first season for Forward Madison, which has been averaging just over 4,000 fans a game at Breese-Stevens Field. They had over 4,700 for their friendly against Hertha Berlin in the Bundesliga from May. The Flamingo players have been very impressed with the support from their home crowd, too.
I didn't think we were going to get this response, especially for our fans, right? It's not easy for starting like this, our first year, and just having the response that we're getting from our fans is nice. It's nice, honestly. It's something that, again, I wasn't expecting.
The Packers begin training camp 2 weeks from Thursday, so that means they're getting the dorms ready for the players at St. Norbert College in De Pere. Now, you probably noticed that a lot of professional football players are really big guys. Defensive lineman Deion Simon is the largest on the roster at 332 pounds. In fact, there are 20 guys on the Packers roster that weigh more than 300 pounds, and there are 23 players who are 6'5" or taller. So to accommodate that, they take the student-sized beds out of the dorm rooms for larger-size, super-sized beds for the larger humans who play football. The whole notion of the Packers going to St. Norbert every year for training camp is a long-standing, unique tradition.
This started 62 years ago with the legendary coach Vince Lombardi, and he decided that St. Norbert College would be the home for Packer training camp. It is the longest such relationship between a pro football team and a college in the NFL.
The Packers will spend 3 weeks at the dorms at St. Norbert's. Rookies move in on July 21st. The rest of the team gets there on July 23rd. One other note from the NFL, former Badger Chris Maragos announced his retirement from football today. Maragos was part of the Eagles Super Bowl championship in 2017, but has had a number of knee surgeries since that have ended his football career. Madison Mallards have a 3-day break before the final stretch of the Northwoods League season, although a good part of the team is playing in the league's All-Star game tonight in Waterloo, Iowa. 9 Mallards are on the South All-Star roster. We haven't heard much about equal pay for the U.S. women's national soccer team lately, but one of the team's sponsors, Procter & Gamble, is giving $529,000 to the players who won the World Cup. That's $23,000 to each of the 23 players on the roster. Procter & Gamble calls on the U.S. Soccer Federation to get on the right side of history. We heard a lot, kind of went away. We'll see if momentum continues on.
Probably a discussion we'll hear between now and the next World Cup, no doubt. Jay, thank you. Dave, final check?
Yeah, we're still talking heat and humidity, but also we are keeping a close eye on a storm just outside of southwestern Wisconsin. A tornado warning in effect until 6:45. So if you are in Grant County, especially southern Grant County, just keep an eye to the sky over the next few hours.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here at 10.